usually I dedicate this channel to talking about personal finance as well as some talks about career, because it's known as Diaspora Careers and Investments. And it gives me a lot of pleasure that today we have one of our career talks, and there's no other person than my very good friend and self-acclaimed or self-styled Maths Queen, Dr. Angela Tabiri. We studied in Glasgow Uni together. Of course, I was years ahead of her, and then we come from the same village in Ghana. So yeah, hashtag Agunasredro, hashtag Agunasafo. So yeah, she was in Edinburgh and then Glasgow and visited for the past few days. So we've had her around and had some chats. And I thought you should also have a preview or an insight into the conversations. And so today we've got the camera here, and I'll be speaking to the Maths King. Welcome to Diaspora Careers and Investments.
Yeah. Thank you, Shadrach. It's a pleasure to be on your channel.
Yeah. You know, I had not thought of this, but you remember when you started your Femme Afrique? Actually, the world goes round. I used to be your cameraman.
Definitely, and you did an excellent job. Yeah, I must add.
Yeah. So when Angela started her, I'll put a link to her channel in the description box below. It's known as Femme Afrique Maths, where she talks about, just tell us what your channel is about.
Yes, so it all started during my PhD. I was looking for mentors who looked like me, so female Africans who had studied maths and were blazing the trail, but I couldn't find a lot of presence online. There were a few articles online, but we didn't have lots of video interviews of them. So I decided I was going to change that narrative. So anytime I went to a conference or anytime I met a female African mathematician, I would interview them, and the goal was that I wanted young girls all across Africa or the world to see what career options are available when you study mathematics. So I use the hashtag Maths Queen, so that maths will be very appealing to young girls, because
not slave queens, but Maths Queens.
Yeah, because the girls grow up not seeing mentors within their environment, but now social media means you can reach people from all across. So we upload our videos on our social media pages, and you can watch it. We've interviewed data scientists, infectious disease modelers, internet security experts, as usual, professors of mathematics and all across. So all that matters is that you're an African or of African descent. So we have people from the diaspora being interviewed, and you should have pursued maths at some level, so probably as undergrad or higher, and excelling in your field. So these are the criteria for our Maths Queen.
No, I mean, you did a fantastic job. I mean, starting even way before I thought of even ever starting a YouTube channel. I mean, you had started one, and of course, studying in Glasgow Uni together, it meant that I could support your channel, and I still remember what your PhD topic was on, quantum homogeneous spaces. I mean, I can't count the number of times I had to listen to a talk or a prep on that. Also, congratulations on all that you've achieved since.
And thanks for the support, right? I couldn't have achieved that. I've had a lot of support, not just you recording videos for me, right? I don't remember which year exactly, but it was International Day for the Women or Girls in Science, and you wrote a post about me on Facebook, and I wasn't really okay. I was posting on Facebook, but not very active, right? But once you wrote that post, my friend list just has skyrocketed, and I realized, okay, I could reach a wider audience. So you've really been supportive.
So that means that you should pay me to write posts about you.
You're an influencer.
Well, I mean, it was very easy to write about things I genuinely believe in, because you're already doing amazing things, and I'm very proud of what you've achieved. So actually, why don't you tell us what you do at the moment? I know you went back to Ghana after your PhD, and then what have you been doing? And
I'm one of your few friends who went back to Africa, right? So for my PhD scholarship, it was by Schlumberger Foundation. They were looking for women leaders who were going to be trained abroad and will return home with their knowledge and skills to promote STEM education among women and girls. So at the end of my PhD, I was also interested in going back home because I have family back home. Yeah, so I went back home.
I'm not going to mention about anything about boyfriend back home.
Oh, please. Let's not go into that. Yes, I went back to Ghana.
All right.
And yeah, thank God I got a job at the African Institute for Mathematical Sciences, Ghana. So I first started as a postdoctoral fellow, AIMS Google AI postdoctoral fellow, and was mainly teaching. So AIMS calendar works this way. You teach a course in 3 weeks, so it's quite intense.
Wow, yeah.
Yeah, so every week you have 10 hours. In 3 weeks you teach a 30-hour course.
Okay.
Yeah, so I was teaching a course, but also at the end of their masters, they have a thesis. So I also supervise students, and I also do research. My
Maths thesis.
Yeah, master's thesis in mathematics.
Wow.
Master's, it depends. Sometimes there's a paper that you are filling in. Other times you have data that you're analyzing, so you have new results. Yes, but I also do research. My research is in quantum algebra, so I'm part of the quantum group at AIMS. Yeah, so I did that, and yeah, by God's grace, now I'm a research associate, but also an academic manager for the Girls in Maths program.
Okay.
So you may know I'm very passionate about women and girls and in mathematics and STEM in general. And the Girls in Maths program, and the applications are currently open. So
applications for what?
For the girls program.
For the girls program in AIMS Ghana.
Yes, yeah, it closes on the 31st of January 2022. So hopefully you get to
2023.
Sorry, yes, 2023. Yeah, so 31st January 2023. So hope this video goes out before then so people can see. So the Girls in Maths program is a mentoring program. When I was in secondary school, I didn't think of maths as an option in terms of something you could pursue to a high level. Yeah, I wanted to be a chartered accountant. Yeah, I was a business student, so I wanted to be a chartered accountant. But when I went to the university, seeing how challenging maths was, and with all the skills I learned from it, I realized, okay. And also seeing our head of department, who was a female, she was very supportive. It made me believe that I could pursue careers in mathematics, not just here, but I've also had a lot of support from my mentors up until my PhD and even now. So this program is for young girls from Ghana who are passionate about
strictly Ghana
for now because of funding, funding restrictions. But yeah, if there's any funder out there who'd like us to would fund us to expand it, we are happy to. So it's for girls, secondary school girls from across Ghana. So either SHS 1, 2, and all that matters that you are passionate about mathematics. It's a 9 months mentoring program.
Wow.
Because most of them are in secondary school, we try not to disrupt the academic calendar. Yes, so we meet them when they're on vacations from school. So once you're selected from the program, you come for a 1 week orientation. You are given a laptop.
Wow.
Which you use because they connect online. You're given an internet device. But we're also training on how to use it because not everyone knows how to use. So how to join a Zoom call, how to send an email, but also computer programming languages.
Wow.
Yes, and so we have that. When they come, we have a few industrial tours and some mathematics master classes. That's for the orientation. Then throughout the 9 months, every month we meet online for master classes. So the master classes, when you're in secondary school, you think of maths as very boring because it's all about the dy, dx, the algebra, find x, right?
We're always finding somebody's x.
Exactly, right? But the goal of this is that we want to demystify it. So we have experts, both local and international, coming in to give a 2-hour talk about their research, and it's very interactive. Sometimes they come with exercises. They put the girls in breakout rooms for them to work on. So that's what they do. Usually we do it on a Saturday mid-morning, so it doesn't disrupt with their studies. Then at the end of the program, they come to the AIMS campus for 3 weeks residential. That one is very intense. So they take math courses, mini courses. They take a general one on mathematical problem solving because you want them. It's a very critical skill that's relevant in school and even at the workplace, right? But they also take specialized courses in, let's say, data science, in quantum gravity, in probability, in particle physics, a lot of diverse areas. But finally, they are also assigned mentors.
All right.
Yeah, so
beyond the 9 months.
No, during the 9
During
months.
the 9
But
months.
of course, your relationship with your mentor
Alright.
can go beyond the 9
Alright.
months. So each of the students is assigned a mentor who guides them on their academic journey. So they meet with their mentors at least once every quarter to discuss their academic progress. And we started this in November 2020.
Yeah, I was gonna ask that.
Yeah, so we started this in November 2020. Yeah, we selected 35 girls from 11 regions of Ghana. We had applications from 12 regions of Ghana in our first call, and about 120 applications. The next year, 2021, we had about 600 applications from 15 regions of Ghana. So it really went very far and wide. This year, we are working towards getting applications from the last region. So we have representatives from all the 16 regions. So we selected 40 girls, so we went a bit up. 40 girls from 15 regions of Ghana, from 37 secondary schools. And it will surprise you. We try to make sure it's not just the elite secondary schools who come in, right? So students from all secondary schools across. And just last November, at the end of the program, you graduate with a certificate. And I was watching and we did a documentary on them, one word to describe their experience. And yeah, I was sitting back and watching, and I was even tearing up, right? Because I saw them at the beginning of the program and I'd seen the growth in them, right? And now they are very confident, more knowledgeable. They know what course to study at the university. So it will surprise you that they come in thinking, if you're good in science, you have to be a medical doctor, right? But in the end, we have a lot of them realize, no, okay, maybe I'm good at computer programming, so I can do computer science. Yeah. I love physics, so I can do a bachelor's in physics. I love math, so I want to do a BEd in mathematics. So that is our goal. Our goal is that we want these girls to pursue STEM as an upgrading level, but also in the next 10 years, they will be the ones leading in research and innovation in the mathematical sciences. Yeah.
No, I mean, there's a lot to unpick from that, but I believe there will be a website or a link to the
I'll share
girls
that with
program.
You.
So
yes.
Once you share that with me, I'll put it in the description box below.
So it's on the AIMS Ghana website. Once you go to the tab public engagement, you see the Girls in Maths program, and you can find all the details and application details there.
No, that sounds encouraging. But you also mentioned that you got the Schlumberger Foundation Scholarship to do your PhD in mathematics in Glasgow. Is that something that is still open to people who want to pursue degrees in science, in STEM?
Degrees. So it's for PhDs and postdocs.
Yeah, I mean, higher degrees.
So usually the applications open around August to first week in November. So currently it's closed, but if you want to do a PhD, you can start preparing. Look for a PhD supervisor. Look for a top university abroad and apply to their postgraduate program. They are looking for women leaders. How are you promoting teaching in your community? How are you supporting women and girls in your community? So go out there and do things that you can write a very good essay about it. Yeah.
So I'll put a link to the Schlumberger Foundation
Faculty for the Future
Awards also in the description box below. So I mean, obviously I did fantastic. Shall I ask, what brought you to Edinburgh? I mean, just briefly, and then we'll go into other aspects. What brought you back to the UK?
Yeah, so COVID came and everything went online. But this was my first in-person conference that I was invited to. So the founder of AIMS, Neil Turok, is currently the Higgs Research Chair for Theoretical Physics at the University of Edinburgh, and was organizing a conference on the new directions in theoretical physics. So to have leaders in different fields of theoretical physics giving talks on where are the open problems, so that young people like us will know where to dedicate our attention to. So that was what brought me to Edinburgh. I was attending the conference and I decided to come to Glasgow.
Yeah, of course. Glasgow would always be home, and you're always welcome here. How has it been returning to Ghana? And indeed, the brother, of course, you can only speak from your experience. But how has it been? What have you been up to, apart from the Girls in Maths program, which is fantastic? But how has going back to Ghana? Because when you were here, you enjoyed shopping a lot.
Oh, so, so for me, going back home was more about going back to family. Yeah, because my family is back home, and also starting a professional job in Ghana. So I'm passionate about teaching. I'm passionate about outreach. So yeah, it's been an interesting, full of ups and downs, right? Sometimes you ask yourself, was it really worth the return? But in the end, you look at all the plus and the minuses, and the pluses exceed the minuses. Yeah. So I went home, because of family, but also because I was committed to doing teaching and impacting girls and women in my society.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but as a condition of your scholarship, you also had to return, didn't you?
But people choose to stay. So people change their minds, right? So they don't force you to return, right? So they don't force. So I could have chosen to stay. So it's a personal commitment. I've always seen Ghana as home, right? So I just wanted to return home. Sometimes when you stay at a place for a while, you want a new challenge, right? A new adventure. So you're coming home, settling with your older sister. I remember the first week I returned. I wasn't driving, so I took a truck through and the roads were bad and my whole body hurts. But but it's been interesting. It's been interesting. Returning home. You see. Okay, from students, right? When they see you that you were a former student, you went to do your PhD, you are back. Sometimes it also inspires them that they can also pursue a PhD. And sometimes you have to support them in terms of references, and you see them going to similar places that you were and all, doing even more than you did. And for me, that brings a lot of fulfillment.
I mean, it's been what, 4 years?
Almost 3.5.
3.5. And I mean, of course, I visited you in Ghana and all of that. I guess you asked almost a rhetorical question, but permit me to ask again. I mean, if you were to trace back your steps, would you go back to Ghana again?
Definitely, yes. So returning home, I've gained a lot of experience in a lot of areas, right? So I've been teaching not just the pure mathematics courses. My first adventure outside my comfort zone was me teaching a course in mathematics for machine learning. So this was for artificial intelligence master's program. And I remember when I walked into the class, they were looking for someone from Facebook or Google, because these are the places they would like to work, right? And this was a young lady standing in front of them who was going to teach them maths. But for me, it was a challenge because I had to translate the pure maths that I was teaching to something practical. So when you think of AI, think of YouTube. When you go to YouTube, how do you think YouTube gets your suggestions for you? They look at your history of previous videos that you have watched, and they make suggestions to you on it, right? And all these are built on mathematical algorithms. So my goal was to teach the students the foundations. They have to understand how the computer is thinking, so that if they are writing programs, they'll be able to write it well for the computer to give it the right output. So that was very challenging. So I realized, okay, well, like, apart from the pure maths, I can also teach this, but also with the girls program that I mentioned, right? So it's something we started completely from the scratch, and I've seen it grow. We are now in our 3rd year, and I've seen it grow. And also Fema Freak Mass, right? I still do the interviews. I get the opportunity to speak at on platforms about the work I'm doing promoting women and girls and mass. I think I'm a great speaker. I get a lot of speaking engagements, and which is great. It's great. And
I don't get any speaking engagements. I'm just here on my YouTube.
Sometimes we pay, so it's good to be back, learning lots of new things. Our educational sector, how do things work? If you have something, a program you wanted to work, you can't do it in isolation. You have to work with the Ghana Education Service. There are so many stakeholders that if you want to, so it's good to have a brilliant idea, but you also have to connect with the right sources. So I'm really learning, and like I mentioned, I'm now a manager. So I work with a team, people management. It's not that easy, right? So initially I was okay. This young girl manager sometimes is really tough. You made the call, but people don't want to heed to it. So learning how to to deal with all these how to voice your make your voice heard, right? As Ghanaians, sometimes we are very quiet, but sometimes I also like to make my voice heard. So I've grown it. I've grown it both professionally and personally.
Let's talk about, I mean, in the class, how do people address you? You're a female doctor, but not a medical doctor.
Oh, so at Ames we don't do titles. We don't do titles. So we go by first names, right? But I taught for one semester at the University of Ghana, and how I was telling my students this, that sometimes we are biased against women. At the university, you have both male and female lecturers, right? They will call the male Dr. Ralph, Dr. Prince, Dr. this, right? But the women, they will call us, how do they even, auntie?
Wow.
Some
Not
will call
even
you
madam.
Some will call you, of course, some will call you
madam.
Yes, so I remember when I was an undergrad, back then I didn't really think through, but now I remember my colleagues used to call her head of department. She was Dr. Margaret McIntyre. They used to call her Auntie Maggie. Yes.
Whoa.
And they'll call
that's harsh, man. That's harsh, man.
Auntie Maggie.
Auntie Maggie.
They'll call
wow.
Dr. Edu Jemfi, Professor Champon, but they'll call her Auntie Maggie.
Auntie Maggie.
And the same happened to me. So I had to educate my students that, hey, you don't call me by my title or just call me by my first name. I have a PhD which I have earned. So if you are going to call my colleagues by the doctor title, and I think at the University of Ghana that was the
culture.
The culture. And sometimes it also helps to maintain that respect. So I insisted that they call me by my title.
Well, then those of you have been calling me Shadrach. I'm Dr. Dare or Dr. Shadrach. Call me, I earned my PhD as well. No, that's fantastic. Yeah, so what do you think are opportunities for women, or in general everyone, anyone who is considering a career in the pure sciences? I remember when I was in high school, going to university, we were strongly discouraged from pursuing mathematics or physics or chemistry because there was a fear that you end up being a teacher or something, and nobody wanted to be a teacher back then. So what would you say are the opportunities for people who want to pursue single courses like maths, physics, chemistry, and the like?
Okay.
Particularly for, you've talked a lot about women, but generally for men and women,
Generally, so I'll start with this. One of my secondary school friends, I wanted to go to the business school. I told her I was a business student, but I ended up with my second choice, which upon hindsight is, I just think it was God working that out. So she went to the business school, and during I think about third year, fourth year, she told me that she would have chosen mathematics and economics if she had known earlier, because it would have given her better options. So with mathematics and economics, you could go into finance, right? But with a degree in finance, you'd be hard to come do
mathematics.
Mathematics masters, right?
No, that's true.
So the first thing is when you pursue and graduate in these pure sciences, it means that you open it gives you more options to go to for your postgrad. So that's one. But secondly, maybe now, maybe with time it will become a bit common in Ghana, but when industries are looking for young graduates to employ, right, they look for people from the pure science degree, not because they are going to apply their theoretical knowledge there, but it's the skills that they acquire during their lessons. So I know people who have done mathematics but have gone on to do accounting, have gone on to do artificial intelligence. You can even do economics with just a math degree, right?
They even do public health.
Yes, exactly, right?
Because we like them for the data analysis part and other things.
Yes, and also the problem solving skills. Right. So doing these courses is really hard, and your ability to go through that for 3 years, right? You develop perseverance, right? So when you are working on a project, right? You are put on a project, you hardly give up. You keep on working until
it should be called a degree in perseverance,
yes. So you hardly give up, but also you learn how to approach a problem. So if you have a problem, you might not be able to tackle it all at once, right? You have to break it down. So you start from a smaller bit of it, try to understand it and solve it. Once you're able to solve it, it gives you a better understanding of it. So people who come from these backgrounds have that skill. So when they're in your team and you face a challenge, they don't fret that, oh, how are you going to overcome this, right? They sit down and they look, okay, what are the common things to this problem? What tool can I pull from my toolbox? Because when you do this, you learn a lot of tools, right? So you're like, okay, this problem looks a bit like this. Maybe if I pull this tool from maybe calculus will work. If I pull this tool from algebra, So yes, I would advise you that pursuing a degree in these pure sciences will put you ahead of your other colleagues because you become versatile. You can do almost anything that you want to do with the skills that you develop from it. So it's not just the theoretical. The theoretical on a normal day, I don't maybe I'll do maybe 50% of my pure maths, but at the other 50% I'm doing other impactful work which my skills in maths is helping me to do very well.
Of course, we cannot have this channel without talking about the money side of things. Does it pay? I mean, I'll leave it as ambiguous as possible.
Oh, does it pay? So one advice I'd give is that you should know your value, right? So it was something that I learned. I learned before I took my first job in Ghana. I knew the quality, the skills I was bringing on board, the experience, right? So I wasn't just coming with a PhD, because a PhD in maths, okay, everyone has a PhD, right? But
not everyone has a PhD.
I'm not the only one.
Somebody in this house doesn't have a PhD, so you don't say everyone has a PhD.
so you have other colleagues with a PhD in mathematics, but what sets you apart from them?
Absolutely.
Right. What new things are you bringing on board? How dynamic are you? Right. So when I was starting, I knew, okay, if I was going to work in the UK or the US, I would have ended, right? Because I was coming on board with all these. I could teach almost anything I would want. You gave me to teach. I could go anywhere, any speaking engagement you give me, I'll be able to go. And then if you ask me to write, I can write. So I knew all these skills. So I remember when I was negotiating with my boss. He told me, okay, I'll give you this, and I'll go back and maybe you can adjust it. If I was working here, if I do the conversion, this is how much I'll earn. Oh, maybe you should add accommodation to it. You should add food to it. You should add this to it. So you should start on a very good note, right? You should know your value and negotiate very well, because wherever you start from, on your next promotion, you build on it.
Absolutely.
So if you don't start on a very good note, then how long will it take to get a good salary?
No, you raised a very valid point. Because of your education from Glasgow Uni and your value, you placed that premium on yourself. Even though you were in Ghana.
Definitely, my boss had also seen me doing things on social, so it wasn't as if he was just putting it. It was going out to the wind. He didn't know it was a gamble. It wasn't a gamble, right? So you had also seen.
So essentially, you had these transferable skills or these other soft skills, whether your media exposure, social media skills, your negotiation skills. All of these skills came into play.
Definitely.
Even though your core training was a PhD in mathematics.
Yeah, because you see, employers are looking for people who can do a lot of things right now. People are paying you at your workplace. Like I said, I do maths, but now I don't really do maths. Like I am an academic manager. They look for people who can do other things, so that you don't have to always be hiring. The head counts usually it's a challenge, right? So you want to reduce the number of people so that you have
quality.
Quality. Yes. So it's something that's really paid off. Yes, and I still must emphasize the power of social media, because you might be doing amazing brilliance, but you might be hiding it under your table or your desk, right? How will people see what you are doing, right? It could be your pure technical research. How are people seeing, relating with what you are doing? Yeah, what you are doing is very technical, but how will a layperson know that, oh, okay, this is what you are doing. They don't have to understand it in detail, but they can have a vague idea of it. But also your other skills, right? If you're good at public speaking, how would they see it if you're not out there talking? And you see, the good thing with social media, it's not like a TV station that you have to pay. You have to pay someone for airtime, right?
It's there. You can just
definitely
record and speak, you know,
and
you
you
get
see,
paid
and
for
you
it.
grow, right? The more you do it, the better you get at it.
Absolutely,
right?
absolutely.
Yes, so it is there, and you have a wide reach. Yeah, sometimes I meet people, oh, famous Angie, because they had seen. Yes, and so they see that on social media, but so when they see you also in person, you also prove it, right? By the quality you give in terms of the experience or whatever skill you're using or providing for them. Yeah. So yes, you should, of course, before they know your value, like I was saying, just put it out there. Okay, it could be a blog, it could be a channel, it could just be a post, right? When people see what comes in mind, right, you can use your social media wall to promote the brand he wants people to see. And with that, when they are paying, they know that, oh, okay, this is what I'm paying for.
The value you're giving. No, I mean, we could go, I mean, of course, you've been here for the past 2 or 3 days, but we could go on and talk. But I just thought I should give my my viewers an insight into what I've been up to in the past few days, but also to understand the opportunities in mathematics, or for even women PhDs, particularly for those who are thinking of going back home, wherever home is. And I think it's important that you mentioned that there is opportunity to actually negotiate what you think your global worth is, and then use that as a benchmark.
Definitely, and also opportunities to start new things.
Absolutely.
So I've been doing these master classes with secondary school students in Glasgow. I've been doing these science festivals, but this returning home, I saw that gap, right? And we've been able to fill it, right? So sometimes it challenges, you see opportunities, right? So yeah, it's not easy in Ghana, right? Sometimes I wish I'm here, but in the midst of all those challenges, the opportunities where you can easily grab them and you distinguish yourself.
Absolutely. So all these other, and of course I remember whether doing math slam, where you did that ridiculous dance. Oh, science slam, not math slam. Yeah, science slam, and
the
dancing. Yeah. Would you want to dance for us? Yeah, whether you dancing those dances, but all of these things have absolutely and I mean, for me also, even this YouTube channel where I talk mostly about finance and career, it's been other experiences rather than my core public health skills. But of course, at the core of it, we remain technical people, but there are other things we can also do. No, so anyway, I'll leave you to share some closing words with, and I'll put a link to Angela's YouTube channel, Femme Afrique Maths, where she promotes females in mathematics. I hope one day she would include men, because it looks like men are now the marginalized group.
No. So just to address that, so it's more of, we have very few of us, right? So it's more of making them ambassadors, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, so that they are visible. So it's not discriminatory. It's more of giving more women the platform so that their voices are heard. Yeah, so for my closing remarks, I'd say, it's a thrilling experience returning home. Highs and lows, but overall it's been really fulfilling returning home. Don't just return home because everyone is returning home or people are telling you to return home. You should have that desire to return home, and you should know what holes that you are returning to fill, and adapt. I was thinking I was going back to this university, right? But I ended up in a different place. So have an open mind, and when you return and you are offered with opportunities or you find opportunities, make very good use of them. And I believe you can carve a niche out for yourself when you return. Like I said, in the midst of the plenty challenges we have, are opportunities that will set you apart. That's when people see you, they know that, oh, this is Angela, math queen. She's always talking about women and girls in mathematics, and there are countless opportunities out there. So if you're thinking of returning home, it's challenging. It's very challenging, but think of unique ways that you can make a difference or impact it. I believe it will be very, very, very rewarding. So thanks for your audience, and do check my channel, Fair My Fake Mask. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah. Well, it's been nice catching up with the Mavs queen herself. Hopefully, somebody in my village sees her and then crown her. Some
Yeah, I want to become an Nkoswanyama.
Ridiculous.
Yeah, so I would love to take this back to our hometown. Central region, right? When you think of central region, you think of poverty, teenage pregnancy.
Well, teenage pregnancy.
Yeah, so I think of a typical girl in Agunasafo or Agunasfield. How many of them are aspiring to become mathematicians? So I remember last time I was going through the applications for the girls, and I saw someone from Agunasafo. I was and she was doing amazing, in terms of her grades and mathematics. Wow! So there are girls out there, and we want to see more of them. We want to change the narrative, right? So that the girls don't think this is all they have, right? There's a wider world out there. So definitely, I would love to return and do something very impactful with the girls. That it's not just you're from Glasgow, you live in Accra. There's more to life than that. So if there's anyone who like to partner, I'm happy to start something. And
don't worry, I'll give you a title myself and then crown you the queen of my of my village. No, so thanks for joining us, and hopefully catch you at the next video. Thanks for staying with us. Bye.
Bye.
Yeah.